Well, good evening, everybody, and apologies for the delayed start time. This is the Warmies. Sometimes you need a little bit of extra fuel in your tank to make sure that you can get warm to the desired amount. And tonight it required a little bit extra, but we are here on the Warmies as the Calgary Flames are getting set to take on the Seattle Kraken tonight at the Scotiabank Saddledome. Should be a lot of fun. Glad you're along with us live from the Sports Interaction broadcast booth, Sports Interaction Studio. It's a great spot for all the latest trends and lines. Head on over to sportsinteraction.com/Flames Nation. It is just a fantastic spot. Trusted Canadian brand since 1997, brings you closer to the action with real-time betting, and you can bet while the action unfolds. Matt C80 is just right on the point as usual. Work from work again? Oh, Matt. You've found the button and you've pressed it, haven't you? We're going to get live with the real-time odds from before the game. And due to some unforeseen technical difficulties, you'll notice these odds are displayed in slightly different units than usual. Apologies for this. But we'll do the real-time translation. The Calgary Flames are the favorites in this game, 1.59, or as we would say normally, plus 159, or maybe plus 160. Kraken, boy, oh boy, this is a bad team. As Jack Rosa mentions, they are 5-3 in their history at the Scotiabank Saddledome, but they are very much not the favorites in tonight's game. The Kraken were in a playoff spot for a lot of the start of the season, but holy moly, have they ever fallen off the map in recent weeks. 1-8-1 in their last 10 games, and that is reflected in their odds tonight on the money line at plus 240. So very much not the favorites in this game. And then the spread, of course, set at plus 1.5, the over-under at 5.5. Again, apologies for the strange units. We will get it fixed in time for our next Warmies broadcast. The Flames are making a couple of personnel changes tonight. Well, not really in terms of their lines, not in terms of the 5-on-5 units, but I found this interesting today. The Flames debuting new power play units in tonight's game against the Kraken. We'll see how long they last, but on the heels of Matt Coronato being demoted off the Flames top line for a period in their last game, he has been demoted off the Flames top power play unit, lining up on the second unit in tonight's game alongside Morgan Frost, Connor Zary, Blake Coleman, and Mackenzie Weegar. The Flames top power play unit making some changes. Jonathan Huberdeau and Nazem Kadri still up there, as is Rasmus Andersson. But joining them are Adam Klapka and Yegor Sharangovich. So a bit of a different look on both units in tonight's game. I've long been an advocate for the Flames changing it up a little bit. I'm not sure if I would have gone in the direction of putting Adam Klapka on the top unit. Don't hate Sharangovich being up there with his shot, but it's definitely a different look. We'll see how long it lasts. As far as the 5-on-5 looks, we'll go over to the Daily Faceoff line combinations. Nothing too out of the ordinary for the Flames in this game. We have seen these lines before, and here they are for the Calgary Flames. It is Jonathan Huberdeau with Morgan Frost and Matty Coronato. Nazem Kadri between Joel Farabee and Yegor Sharangovich. Mikhail Backlund on the third line between Blake Coleman and Connor Zary. And Johnny Beecher on L4 between Ryan Lomberg and Adam Klapka. One interesting personnel note Dryden Hunt going on waivers today for the Calgary Flames, and in his stead, they have brought up our old buddy Justin Kirkland. So Justin Kirkland is back on the Flames roster, but whether he is actually in a position at any point to be in the Flames lineup at any point soon, well, that remains to be seen. So we shall see in that case. On the back end, again, things looking pretty normal for the Calgary Flames. Kevin Ball with Rasmus Andersson, that's been a pairing all year. Mackenzie Weegar and Yan Kuznetsov, that's been a pairing for quite some time. And Hunter Brustevich remains in on P3 alongside Joel Hanley. Brady Hall will sit yet again. We did get some news on the defensive front for the Flames. Jake Bean will undergo surgery to address a nagging ailment, which kind of begs the question, with one other player who was on waivers today, Igor Zamula, another Igor or Yegor. Igor Zamula, a former member of the Calgary Hitmen, on waivers today from the Philadelphia Flyers. Does Igor Zamula make sense as a player who the Calgary Flames will claim off of waivers? we'll just have to wait and see. He's an interesting player. He plays both the left and the right side on defense. He's 6'3", 200 pounds, from the town or city or locale of Chelyabinsk, Russia, home of Tractor in the KHL. But Zamula's been in, this neck of the woods for quite some time. He joined the Regina Pats in the 2017-18 WHL season, spent parts of 3 seasons with the Calgary Hitmen, has been with the Flyers organization since 2020 after signing with them as an undrafted free agent. So interesting to see Igor Zamula being on waivers today, maybe with the Flames shuffling some things around and with Jake Bean now being sidelined indefinitely. That could be a player who becomes a Calgary Flame by this time tomorrow. Lots of good stuff in the comments already. Matt C. mentioning how Jonathan Huberdeau doesn't get demoted, but Matt Coronado did. It's a fair point. It is a fair point. It's interesting to know that the Flames' second power play unit has their 2 top goal scorers. 10 goals apiece for Matt Coronado and Blake Coleman, and yet they're both on PP2. It does make you think a little bit. But still, by that same token, I think there's nothing wrong with mixing it up a little bit. The Flames have never been a team that plays their top unit the entire 2 minutes. So I don't mind changing it up to a certain extent. I think Coronado will continue to get some power play looks. Jack Rosa mentioning the last time the Calgary Flames were visited by the Seattle Kraken, it was a Flames 4-3 overtime win at the Saddledome on March 25th. That is true. So I think the Flames are in a good position to beat the Kraken tonight. But by the same token, if we look at the overall NHL standings, what a development it would be for Team Tank if the Flames are able to help the Kraken get out of their funk. As we mentioned, 1-8-1 in their last 10 games. They have fallen to the point where they are now tied with Nashville and Calgary in the standings. They've played a couple fewer games, but at 12, 13, and 6, they are really, really struggling. Overall in the NHL standings, Seattle tied for 29th overall. So, this is not exactly a strong team. And in fact, they are the lowest scoring team in the entire NHL. The Kraken have scored 77 goals this season. The Flames have scored 87 goals. The St. Louis Blues have scored 87. So the Kraken, the lowest scoring team in the entire National Hockey League. And there's a good article written over today at Daily Faceoff. I know it's a good article because I wrote it. Couldn't resist. A good article over on Daily Faceoff about the Seattle Kraken. They're running out of answers in another lost season. This is their 5th year in the NHL, and I think it's safe to say the honeymoon period is starting to end in Seattle. As we saw their head coach, Lane Lambert, he is their 3rd head coach in the last 3 seasons, and he kind of came under fire. Not necessarily him specifically, but the Kraken came under fire a couple nights ago for not letting Lane Lambert answer any questions from anybody other than a team reporter after the game. He was asked 5 questions after that loss to the Colorado Avalanche on Tuesday. They were all by the same guy, a Kraken.com guy. They didn't allow any external media to answer him questions. A little bit trouble in paradise over in Seattle. It's a team that is really, really struggling. We'll look at their forward group. Their leading scorer this year is Jordan Eberle, who has 10 goals and 20 points in 31 games. Jordan Eberle is the lowest scoring top scorer on any team in the entire National Hockey League. Playing on that second line with Matty Beniers and Mason Marchment. Beniers still Seattle's highest ever draft pick at number 2 overall in 2021. And Beniers has 4 goals this season. That's it. 4 goals for Matty Beniers this year. Chandler Stevenson signed through 2031 and over $6 million a year, centering the top line with Ellie Tolvanen and Freddie Gaudreau. Boy, that is not a top line in the NHL. Third line, Shane Wright between Kaapo Kakko and Yanni Newman. And on line number 4, it is Ben Myers between Ty Cartier and Ryan Winterton. That is certainly a forward lineup. Whether it's a good one, I don't really know. But boy, oh boy, the Seattle Kraken are a team that I would say one of the handful of teams that is in a worse spot going forward than the Calgary Flames. Just absolutely nothing in that group that makes you think, wow, this team's on the verge of turning the corner. We'll have a look at the Kraken defensive group. It's okay. Lots of sort of expensive free agent guys in here. Vince Dunn on the top pairing with Jamie Alexiak. Riker Evans, a Calgary kid, with Ryan Lindgren on pairing number 2. And Josh Muhura, the former Florida Panther and Anaheim Duck, with former Edmonton Oiler Adam Larson on pairing number 3 for Seattle Kraken. So again, it is a pretty anonymous team that they're putting on the ice over in Seattle. We should mention as well Dustin Wolf and Joey Decord on the ice for their respective teams for warm-ups at the Saddledome. That's courtesy our buddy Ryan Pike. But Pike, you should know, it's not the warm-ups. It's the Warmies. We'll have Pike on our next edition of the Warmies live from the Sports Interaction studio. And speaking of Sports Interaction, we got another little bet that we're going to put up on our screen here. It's about the first goal scorer in today's game. If you paid attention to our last show, it was all about early goals in that game. I said bet the over, and wouldn't you know it, both of those bets hit. Let's put it up, Michael. A bet on the first goal scorer in tonight's game. Again, pardon the weird units, but it's Nazem Kadri, Matty Coronado, the two top guys in this particular prop. A couple of Kraken guys in there as well, Jordan Everly and Ili Tolvanen. And then kind of a funny one, Joel Farabee, the third-ranked Calgary Flame in this particular category. I'm not sure what Blake Coleman's line is, but I would maybe look a little bit lower and go consider him for the first goal scorer prop over at Sports Interaction. They're really good folks. Head on over to sportsinteraction.com/FlamesNation. 19 plus. Please play responsibly. They're good folks. They'll help you out. They will give you the best bets, the best lines. There aren't many sports books out there that'll help you out, but Sports Interaction has got the good lines. They got the real good lines, and they'll show you what you got to do with extensive betting options, 100 plus markets per game, player props, futures, and more. Build your bet with same-game parlays with easy deposits and payouts, lightning fast, Interac e-transfer, and other top payment options. Good to see the chat lively as usual. Our buddy Jux JC in there. I forgot about the Warmies again. Too busy arguing on Twitter. Who among us? We're all busy arguing on Twitter. We're glad you made it. We're glad you made it when you made it. Ominous Flames asking, how is Shane Wright doing? He was a projected #1 draft pick, but has he shown any flair? I think it's a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy in Seattle. I think these guys that are underperforming, they're doing so because Seattle's underperforming, but Seattle's underperforming because their young guys are underperforming. Like, it's a bit of a cyclical thing here. Wright so far this season has 6 goals and 13 points in 31 games. That's not super great. Last year he was pretty good though. 19 goals, 44 points in 79 games. He's still just 21 years old. Like, he'll be 22 in January. Shane Wright was eligible for the World Juniors up until I think last year or the year before. So it feels like he's been around forever, but he's still really young. That's the thing. Seattle's got a lot of really young guys. The thing that stands out to me about Seattle that's kind of funny, they've never drafted a defenseman in the first round. Never. All 5 of their first-round draft picks, or at least all 5 of their top picks over the last 5 drafts, have been forwards. It's Matty Beniers, Shane Wright, Edward Shala, Berkeley Catton, and their guy from this most recent draft, Jake O'Brien, who just got cut from Team Canada at the World Juniors. They're all forwards. And so, you look at the core group. This was a piece that I a piece of the piece that I wrote today that I kind of mentioned. It's hard to define the core group for this Seattle team. You look at it, there's not a whole lot of guys. How do you define it? Is it Beniers, Wright, Jared McCann, Jake O'Brien, Vince Dunn, and Joey Decord? Like, that's not really a core in the NHL. At least not a very good one. So, they're in a real tough spot, a tougher spot than the Flames are, in my opinion. So, Gambit in the chat saying Eberle, he's their star. Well, Eberle's like 33, 34 years old. He's their captain, sure, but he's not the star of an NHL playoff team at this point in his career. Good to see our buddy Shrimp on the Bobby live from Australia asking, can he get a future prediction? Reschny is impressing at junior camp, playing well in the NCAA. Do you think he moves into the NHL a lot sooner than we think? The thing with Cole Reschny that a lot of people don't, discount a little bit, his production last year, very similar in the WHL to what we saw from a guy named Ben Kindle, who's currently playing extremely well in the NHL with the Pittsburgh Penguins. So I don't think it's out of the question at all that we see Cole Reschny playing in a legit role with the Flames real soon. What his ceiling is, I don't know. But the production that we saw from him with the Victoria Royals in last year's playoffs just went up and up and up and up. He has been outstanding. And at North Dakota this year, the pure points aren't maybe the most impressive, but what I've heard from everybody who's watched him down at North Dakota, the underlying numbers, the face-offs, the two-way play, it's been fantastic. And so with Cole, I think he's a really mature player, and I think there's an NHL player there really soon. And I'm super excited to see what happens at the World Juniors. The other thing that I'm super excited to see with the World Juniors is how Gavin McKenna comes out of it. I think Gavin McKenna is going to reassert himself as the clear-cut #1 overall guy at this World Juniors. I think what we saw yet last night with Canada-Sweden being a game there, McKenna was all over it. And I think he, Pinder and I have had conversations on other shows about, the decision that McKenna made going to Penn State, a school that has never developed a full-time NHL player. And I think the learning curve for him there is way higher than it would be, not just for a player at his age, but a player going to the NCAA period, because he's playing in an untested program. So I have a lot of leeway for Gavin McKenna, and the plays that he made last night to set up Brady Martin for his 2 goals in that preliminary game against Sweden were so impressive to me. I think he's going to be the best player at the tournament. I think he's going to be the best player in the draft. And I think all the folks right now who are mocking him going number 2 or 3 or 4, they're going to be out to lunch by the end of the day. So we shall see, but I'm super excited about that aspect of it as well. Jack Rosa mentioning that fun fact about Cole Reschny, his brother plays for the St. Trojans. Yes, you're talking about Austin Reschny, who also played for the Okotoks Oilers when I worked there. So, yeah, really good family, Macklin, Saskatchewan. Austin was like a real good meat and potatoes player. Cole's got the meat and potatoes in him as well. He's got a little bit more cerebralness to his game and the ability to make special plays. Kenda Original, we got a super chat, and this is an incredible super chat with an incredible typo right off the hop, but we're going to get to it anyway. Super chats, proceeds from the super chat go to the Youth Centers of Calgary, place where kids can get the support they badly need, especially as we get into the holidays. Kenda Original, $20 super chat on the Warmies. Husband, I think you mean Huska. Husband is not consistent with how he deals with younger players and veterans. No matter how you miss doo-doo, it won't change what it is. He needs to try something different, not just rehashing the same old lines. Kenda Original, that's the best super chat of the year so far. Ryan Husband, it reminds me of that TV show, Canada's Worst Driver, where the host of that show, did anybody in the chat ever watch Canada's Worst Driver? I can't remember. I think it was on the Discovery Channel. And the host of that show, and this is true, you can look it up, the host of Canada's Worst Driver was named Andrew Young Husband. Andrew Young Husband. So there you go. Anything is possible. Adding 269 onto that with another super chat. Ryan Husband, absolutely. When I first saw that super chat, I thought that there was a marital dispute happening live in the comments on the Warmies, and I was thinking that's new. But then again, it is the Warmies. Anything can happen on the Warmies. We don't know. But yeah, I promise you, look that up. Go watch an episode of Canada's Worst Driver, hosted by none other than Andrew Young Husband. There you go. That's your Warmies trivia for this Thursday evening. These are great super chats. Thank you all for contributing to the Youth Centers of Calgary. They really appreciate these super chats, and we've been super excited to read some of these great comments on the show. Yeah, I just don't know what the deal is with Seattle. I'm super excited to watch them tonight just to see what is going on with that team. Some interesting stuff on the out of town tonight. Edmonton is in Boston, and news just trickling in that Tristan Jarry has left that game with an injury and will not return. Of course, the Edmonton Oilers just traded for Tristan Jarry from the Pittsburgh Penguins relatively recently. Calvin Pickard is now in net for the Edmonton Oilers in that game. But boy, if Tristan Jarry's out for any length of time, that starts to look real hairy over in Edmonton. So yeah, not a good sign if you are an Oilers fan. But yeah, Tristan Jarry injured in today's game against the Boston Bruins. Anything is possible, saying this show is now about animal husbandry. That just reminds me of an old joke about folks who study animal husbandry that I will not repeat on the show. So we'll just leave it at that. Some other stuff on the out of town on this Thursday evening. It is Chicago and Montreal tied at 1 at the Centre Bell. Holy moly. That one was real rough off the tongue tonight. The Ottawa Senators up 3-0 on the Pittsburgh Penguins at the second intermission at the Canadian Tire Center in Canada. Columbus and Minnesota, the 2000 expansion siblings, tied at 2. That's an interesting one. And then another one that's really fascinating on the out of town, Philadelphia Buffalo. That one has big ramifications for Team Tank. The one goal for Buffalo in that game scored by Jack Quinn, but Noah Cates and Cam York have the Flyers up 2-1 in the second period in that game. Some other stuff on the out of town tonight. This one's big. The St. Louis Blues playing host to the New York Rangers. And in the first intermission of that game at the Enterprise Center in St. Louis, it is 1-0 off of a goal by waiver claim Jonathan Berggren. St. Louis Blues getting some gold off of waivers from the Detroit Red Wings. That'd be a big win for them, and also for the Calgary Flames if the Blues are able to pull it out against the New York Rangers. Keep getting those questions in there into the chat. Keep getting the comments in there. LA Kings are up 2-1 on the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Kings are a team that has sort of been in danger of falling out of the playoff picture with some of their recent play, but a couple of goals by Adrian Kempe have them up by a 2-1 score. Kings have lost back-to-back. They are 3-4-3 in their last 10 games. Interesting comment in here from Anything Pospisil talking about how, what happens if this is a longer-term thing for Tristan Jarry. The one thing that comes to my mind is the Buffalo Sabres. We just mentioned them. They have 3 goalies right now. Colton Ellis might be the odd man out. I don't think they're going to trade Alex Lyon. They've liked how he's been playing. And Ukko Pekka-Luukkonen's contract just doesn't make sense for the Oilers after they traded for Jarry. But I don't think Connor Ingram is going to be coming up, at least not yet. So I would really keep an eye on the Buffalo Sabres as a team to watch if the Oilers do have a need for a goaltender to patch things up in the interim. It's a strange night around the league. Some folks before we got on live tonight were sort of speculating, making sure that I was doing okay with all the craziness on the roads, all the slickness, all the ice, all the snow. It's crazy out there, folks. We really encourage you to take it easy out there on the roads. Be very, very careful. It's treacherous. The blizzard that we had yesterday, driving to work, the commutes, that was maybe the worst commute I've ever experienced in more than 25 years now of living in Calgary. And I just hope that you folks are all staying warm and staying healthy and staying happy out there, because it is a fraught time of year to be driving out on these roads. So stay healthy, stay warm. One other game that's really interesting to watch for tonight's schedule, Dallas in San Jose. Dallas, of course, is a team that we're going to be continuing to watch as a team that could be in some Calgary trade discussions moving forward here. And San Jose, we just saw the Flames lose to the San Jose Sharks. They are in a playoff spot, 17-14-3 through 34 games. They have won 3 straight. And boy, so much of these games worth looking into, so much intrigue. And folks, we just want to remind you one more time, head on over to Sports Interaction for all the latest lines and odds and props. It is sportsinteraction.com/FlamesNation. One more time, 19 plus, please play responsibly. Folks, we're going to cut it short a little bit tonight, although we got the late start. We're going up until 7 p.m. tonight. But enjoy today's game. It is the Calgary Flames against the Seattle Kraken, live from the Scotiabank Saddledome. I will not be on the post-game show tonight. Afterburner will be my buddy Cami Kepke, along with Munich, Bobby, Germany. That'll be a lot of fun. The Warmies will return on Saturday night as the Flames get set to take on the Vegas Golden Knights, also at the Saddledome, on Hockey Night in Canada. Until then, for producer Michael, for everybody in the chat, for the Youth Centers of Calgary, for Sports Interaction, my name is Mike Gould. What a wonderful night it has been with you here on the Warmies.
Hey, buddies. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Also, if you could throw in a like and subscribe, it does help us out with what it is we are doing. And check out more at flamesnation.ca.